They called us apes. Primitive.
Weak.
Unworthy of the stars. When the Xal'Zir Dominion arrived, we were nothing more than another species to conquer. Their ships blotted out our skies, their soldiers marched through our cities, and their cold, reptilian eyes looked down on us with disdain. Humanity's history of war and resilience meant nothing to them. They had seen 1,000 species resist, and they had crushed them all. They believed we would be no different. We weren't the first to fight back. Scattered uprisings flared across the colonies, on Mars, Europa, Titan, but they were smothered with brutal efficiency. For every human who raised a weapon, 1,000 were slaughtered in retaliation. They didn't just conquer us, they broke us. They took our brightest minds, our strongest warriors, and forced them into servitude. Those who refused were erased. Earth itself became a labor world, its people stripped of their identity, reduced to nothing more than workforce and entertainment. We were playthings to them, beasts that amused them with our defiance, but never threatened them. They mocked us in their great halls, laughing at our stubbornness. "The apes still fight," they would say, shaking their elongated heads. Still clinging to their emotions, their primitive notions of freedom. They will learn, as the others have. Their mistake was believing we would break like the others. They underestimated us. Because in the darkest corners of their empire, beneath their watchful eyes, we were learning, watching, waiting. They thought they had stripped us of power, but power isn't just in ships or weapons. It's in the mind. It's in desperation. And it's in the willingness to do what must be done. Deep within the frozen minds of Europa, a whisper spread. A secret passed from prisoner to prisoner, a plan spoken only in hushed breaths. It wasn't just about rebellion. It wasn't just about striking back. It was about unmaking gods. They called us apes. They would learn what happens when you corner an animal and leave it nothing but its rage. The Xal'Zir home system was a marvel of engineering, a testament to their absolute rule. Their sun, stabilized by massive orbital reactors, powered their fleets, their cities, their very way of life. It was the beating heart of their empire. And humanity had come to stop its pulse. The infiltration was swift, brutal, and silent. The resistance had studied Xal'Zir security for years, learning their weaknesses, exploiting their arrogance. Disguised as maintenance crews, they moved through the towering structures of the primary energy station. Every step brought them closer to the core, closer to the moment that would decide everything. Inside the reactor chamber, Elias Carter worked with the precision of a man who had nothing left but his purpose. His hands moved through the alien interface, bypassing failsafes, overriding security measures. He didn't have to destroy the system. He just had to push it past its limits. The Xal'Zir had never considered that anyone would dare touch their god machine. The first alarm blared, sharp and unnatural. They had been discovered. Captain Mira Salas didn't hesitate. She and the others took position, weapons ready. Xal'Zir soldiers poured into the station, their sleek armor glinting under the red emergency lights. Plasma fire ripped through the air. The humans fought with desperation, not for victory, but to buy Elias the seconds he needed. The console pulsed beneath his hands, warning of imminent collapse. He locked in the sequence, forced the reactor into a feedback loop. The system buckled, fighting against the impossible strain. The Xal'Zir had designed their technology to be indestructible, but nothing was beyond destruction. The structure trembled. The station's AI, confused by the chaos, triggered lockdown procedures, too late. The core surged, the chain reactions spreading beyond control. The sun itself began to turn against them. Myra's voice crackled over the comms. "Time's up. Get out of here." Elias hesitated. The escape window was closing. But Mira had already sealed the doors behind her. She stood before the remaining Xal'Zir soldiers, bloodied but unbroken. "You called us apes," she said, leveling her weapon. "Let's see how you survive without your son." The station detonated. From orbit, the human fleet watched as the impossible happened. The Xal'Zir sun, the eternal light of their empire, flickered. Then, with a final, agonized shudder, it collapsed in on itself. The supernova consumed everything, the homeworld, the fleet, the Dominion's heart. In the silence that followed, Elias Carter closed his eyes. The war wasn't over, but the gods had fallen.